Alright, I think we're ready to begin this time. What's up, Monkey Bros? Back at it again with another video. This time we're doing something a little different. I've often talked about doing D&D stuff, branching off into that, so today, and I've been in the mood to do a little bit of work on a new campaign I'm working on with some friends of mine, so I figured I'd kind of, kill two birds with one stone, release something a little different, and show you guys my workflow. So, I hope you like it. And, well, if you're looking for, saying, any pointers or tips or whatever, let's say if you're just starting out with D&D 5th edition, or it might be your first time kind of, running a campaign or trying to do your own homebrew thing, well, we can figure it out together. Alright, so first, I'm going to be using three main tools here. The first thing I've got going on is actually a little something that I whipped up myself. I don't really have a name for it just yet. Maybe we can work on that together at some point. Yeah, in fact, if you have any good ideas for what this sort of generator could be called, hit me up in the comments section. I'm open to suggestions. For now, I've just got like some sort of generic name like DM Toolkit, which is fine for now. But yeah, we'll be working with that. And also, we got ourselves a handy dandy notepad, which is, again, just basically just some notes we can scribble on as we go along to keep track of things. That'll be really important for, oh no. There goes my shirt again. Well, looks like I'm wearing a white shirt today, guys. So, well, it is what it is. But yeah, so we can keep track of our notes, which will be important. Let's see. So yep, there's our toolkit, there's our notes, and also we have a pad here for doing some drawings as needed. So this will keep us, well, let's see if we can get it to track properly. Yes, there we go. Here is our drawing. So, well, bear with me, guys. I'm still figuring all this stuff out. And I'm trying to kind of keep it all kind of a stream-focused type of environment. So, yeah, I'm not really going to edit this a whole lot because, hey, if it happens on stream, well, that's just the way it's going to be. So, got to get used to that somehow, right? So, yeah, there's our drawing pad. So I think eventually we might get into, well, again, as you can see, it's Microsoft Paint. So something really simple, just to get us started on drawing maps for maybe a dungeon or possibly a town. We'll see what happens. Alright, so first, we're going to start with our toolkit. Alright, so our toolkit has several options going on here. Let's see. We're going to start with, let's see, let's keep it simple. Let's build a town. So we're going to go over to this section here, Town Generator. And let's see what we can whip up. Let's start maybe small. Let's not do a whole village yet. We're going to presume this is the start of the campaign. And actually the campaign I'm working on now, it's kind of got a bit of a pirate theme. So we're probably not going to be dealing with anything much bigger than, say, maybe like a port town or maybe a city, eventually a metropolis, but let's start at a town. Yeah, let's make it a port town. It's going to be a major section of the town, of the map anyway. What pirate adventurer doesn't eventually come across a port town? So, we start there, we click the button, and it gave us a town name, Quanaborough. Right, I like that name. So it gave us a name, population size. So Quanaborough is a small town consisting of less than 2,000 people. Its demographic is mostly half-elven. Good deal of dwarves, tieflings, and humans make up the minority, and pureblood elves make up a super minority. Quanaborough has about 10 points of interest, and it's ran by a mayor. So I like the sound of that, so we're going to save that, copy paste that onto our notepad. So we're going to put that right there. And I'm going to show you our notes here in a second. So yeah, as you can see, boop, I copy and pasted that onto our notepad. Got our town name, Quanaborough, with its population. Yeah, I'm sorry, my little icon thing's in the way, but in fact, I think I'll remove that because that's gonna keep getting in the way. So yeah, we all know what we're here for. We know this is a D&D video. Alright, so we got Quanaborough, that's our population. Alright, now we go back to our tools, and as you can see, there is a location generator, and yeah, we can play around with the town generator. If we wanted a different town, let's say if we weren't in love with Quanaborough. I like it. That's a nice sounding name. It sounds like it matches the theme I'm going for. And of course, even if it weren't, you know, you can name it whatever you want. These things are just kind of pointers to help out. So now let's try another town. We have Pepfor Town with a population of 2,824 people. It's a much bigger town. And as you can see, yada yada yada, it's got its own demographics. That town has 9 points of interest, and it's ran by an oligarchy. But we're going to go back to Quanaborough, which had 10 points of interest. And so what we do next is we go to locations, click that, got ourselves a fishery. And again, I like to think of these points of interest not necessarily as, let's say, I wouldn't consider them the only places your town has. I would just say they're points of interest. Think about it. It's almost like say if your town happens to be like my hometown, you know, not the most interesting place. So, but again, there are way more than 10 places there. So, again, these are places where you would potentially set adventurer hooks. So yeah, fishery, that's actually a really good place to consider for a port town. Let's see, Quanaborough also has a martial arts school. Interesting. So monks tend to gravitate there. It's in shambles, so yeah, there's story potential there. It's got a school. Okay. And again, if there are any of these that we particularly dislike, we can just simply ignore it or just kind of fill it with our own ideas. But for the purpose of what we're doing today, I'm just going to go ahead and just go with literally what's given. Let's see, it's got a shrine. Okay, so there's some semblance, some trace of religion in Quanaborough. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so let's see, that's given us, it's our 4th spot. Let's go for a 5th. Temple, okay, so there's a shrine and a whole temple. And again, it's left open, so you can kind of choose, you know, how those shrines and temples work. If there's a particular local religion, or if they subscribe to any of the major ones that are present in your campaign, that is completely up to you to decide. And again, you can even, you don't have to go with the condition suggestions. Because again, it even kind of suggests the, you know, like how the place is doing. So this tavern, it's got a tavern that's kind of run down. And again, because it's a harbor town, it most likely is going to have multiple taverns. But again, for the sake of argument, maybe this run-down tavern is, you know, where the action is. So if you're at a port town, you're looking for the bad guy bar, chances are it's not going to be the pristine one. Chances are pretty big it's going to be the run-down Robin, you know, the one that's a bit of a dive bar. See, again, we got a fancy winery, so again, if your party needs to engage with some upper crust folk, might be a good spot to begin that search there. And we have an apothecary. So yeah, so far these are actually really good. Let's go back and check our count here. Go back to our notes. Let's see, let's scroll back up. We've got our fishery, that's 1. Martial arts school. In fact, I'm going to number these just so we won't have to go all the way back up. So we'll do that right now. 3 on the school. 4 a shrine. And again, you know, as you figure out the story of this town, again, I'll make a sample story of, you know, as we go, as we get to that point. But again, in your campaign, using this tool, you're not going to get these same turnouts for things. So you'll get a completely different set of things. And again, you can kind of figure out how they all come together in shaping the story in your game. So, okay, so we need one more thing. So we've got 9 things so far. Let's see. yeah, so we're just one short of having all of our recommended destinations in check. Okay, let's go back to our tools. Rid of our notes. Okay, so one more location. Blah. Okay, and we got another temple. Okay, which isn't bad. I mean, it might not be a bad idea to have multiples of the same things sometimes, especially if your game does have multiple religions, or you could even work that into a plot line there of what's going on. Maybe they're two rival religious gangs or something. I don't know. Okay, and this temple is in terrible condition. It's in condition as 1. Okay, well actually both of them are in shambles. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. I think the highest condition we see a building in is the winery, which makes sense, kind of a fancy spot. Everything else in this is under 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 4 is the school. So, once again, you do not have to go with any of these figures or suggestions, but that is to kind of give you an idea of, again, just story potential. Things you can build going on. Alright, so we've got our town, we've got our major locations. Now one thing I like to do is maybe see if we can come up with NPCs that are associated with each of these locations. At least one. So let's see, we can go back to our handy dandy thing here. Let's see, now you can make an NPC by name. Let's see, we've got Holmall as a halfling. So we'll copy and paste that. That sounds actually it sounds a bit more dwarven, but again, we're just going with face value here. We can edit later. Let's see, we've got Holmall. Let's say he is associated with, well, let's just go first come, first serve. Again, in your own, I guess, use of this tool, you can edit this to your liking. So if you do agree that Holmall is more of a dwarven individual, you're welcome to, alter that suggestion. Alright, so the way I like to think of this tool is, it's like when you use a decision, like use a coin toss to make a decision. Chances are you're already somewhat invested in the decision. So let's say you flip the coin, right? It lands on heads. Does your heart of hearts agree with that? If no, then go with tails. Then go with whatever the tails option was. So same thing here. It's just to kind of get the ball moving, giving you some placeholder. Yeah, placeholder. It's all placeholder, exactly. So, let's see, we've got Holmall for the fishery. If you wanted to, you could even give Holmall a description. So, let's go back to our toolkit. So I clicked the button. Let's see, I clicked this person generator button right here. And so yeah, it gave us a basic description of his hair. So he's got red, very short, straight hair. He's got gray, angry eyes. Considering he's a halfling, he's got middling structure. Now again, keep in mind that things like body, that's kind of in relation to what they are. So, middling, he's maybe middling for a halfling. He's kind of a bit of an endomorph, which is a classic halfling build. Body structure. Build underweight. So he's kind of, I guess you would say he might have, maybe he's got a good, maybe his body is built to be kind of fat and muscly, but in relation to that, he's kind of a bit underweight. So, you can kind of reconcile that however you want. Let's see, he's got olive brown complexion, and he's got his striking feature, maybe his most noticeable feature, is the fact that he does have a facial scar. Maybe something faint and subtle, but still able to be noticed. So, yeah, as you can see, the person generator goes into some pretty descriptive detail. And of course, again, all placeholder, so you can update that however you like. And so what I would do is I would kind of go through for each of these locations and create an NPC that has that's associated with that spot. Whether it's a shopkeeper or maybe someone who might have a clue to the next plot point, or maybe even might be a quest giver themselves. So for the sake of time, I'm going to, let's just presume that I did that for all these locations. Because we actually do have Holmall's information up, let's assume he's a quest giver. So for that, how that would work from there is I go to our handy dandy adventure generator, which is a function, as you can see, that is right here. And for that, give it a clicky click. Alright, and so according to this, Holmal, turns out he's a very young merchant. He's looking for an item of interest, which is in this case a person, a male family member. So again, you can kind of figure out what that is, whether that's his father, brother, uncle, what have you. He needs this person to be escorted or delivered somewhere. So chances are you'll probably meet that NPC that he needs to have escorted in the town. Maybe Holmal wants to... Okay, the primary adventure locale is a town or city that's 1 day away. Approximately, give or take. So he needs to help. So Holmal's trying to get his, let's say his uncle, escorted to the next town over. Maybe Holmal's busy running the fishery. Well, I guess he's more of a merchant. Or again, you can kind of adjust that. Let's stick to the fact that he is a fisher, like related to the fishery. So Holmal, he's a very young fisher, a very young merchant of fishery, a fishmonger perhaps. And so very young by halfling standards, he could be 30, like 30 regular years. So still very young by halfling standards. Because again, they tend to be, like hobbits. They're about 111. That's kind of like their equivalent of like what, 60 or so. So, he's maybe 30. So he's still very busy running the fishery, and he's got to take his injured uncle to the next town over. But he wants him delivered there safely, so he's willing to hire an adventurer to do that. Therefore, that's where your party enters in. He knows that there's a complication of orcs. So maybe there are orcs that are kind of patrolling the roads, like maybe orc highwaymen. That's something to consider there. And as far as any special requests, he has none. Now sometimes I'm going to copy and paste that real quick before I show you guys what could possibly be displayed under patron requests. Alright, patron requests. Okay, yeah, as we see here, this particular adventure patron, needs their issue resolved within 6 days. And of course, as the DM and the person running the game, you can kind of figure out what would be the consequence of your party failing to meet that deadline, so on and so forth. So for now, let's check our handy dandy sheet here. Back to our notes. So we've got Holmal. He is a halfling. We said he runs a fishery. And we're going to put that merchant thing in there. We're going to question marks. Go back to age. We're going to say he's around 30. Note, very young by halfling standards. Alright, so we've got that set up. We got our Act 1 of the adventure. Let's go back to our toolkit. So now, for the toolkit, we'll click on Act 2. What's the follow-up to that? Alright, so on route to the location, they encounter the expected opposition, which, as you remember, it was orcs. We have a reason to doubt their employer is given. So maybe at this point there is a bit of it's introduced that maybe this job isn't entirely on the up and up. So you can introduce that element of things, maybe sometime shortly after the orc attack. Like maybe you can even add that by saying maybe in battle, maybe the orcs might kind of say something that suggests that maybe you guys are doing the wrong thing. Maybe this uncle or maybe this fishery family has somehow wronged the orcs. Like, I don't know, like maybe they might be fishing on actual grounds that belong to the orcs. Maybe they're fighting for their homeland or something like that. Something that kind of throws in a twist. But at the location, someone from the party has unnerving ties to this town. So by the time you guys get to the new town, which we're not gonna go through the trouble here of creating that town. I might do that for later. But by the time your party gets to the town, someone, may be a good spot to introduce another player's backstory. Let's see. And then of course we have the twist, which the quest objective is not what it seems. Introduce the real mission objective, and that is great that we had that happening along with the same travel event or unroute event of a reason to doubt the employer is given. At this point we might find out something about the uncle, like maybe the uncle is actually a really bad dude and he just didn't, maybe he's on his own mission. I don't know, that's whatever, you know, you can kind of come up with something. So again, this isn't a solution for everything, but it does give you room to kind of speculate. Let your imagination play with it a little bit. Okay, we have a boon that's somewhere within this this segment of things. The party finds a new ally, and the peril danger is the unexpected mini-boss encounter awaits the party. Let's see, you find out that this is all the work of a scheming knight. So maybe the uncle and the knight are somehow in cahoots. And by the end of the adventure, we have the twist that the nephew, that Holmal, was genuinely unaware of any of this. Like, he was completely left out of the loop. Let's see. So Holmal might not pay you in any money, but he might pay you in an heirloom or something like that. You know, something of equal or maybe even greater value. And as for the revelations, the patron is coy, answering only direct questions and doing so evasively. So in this case, maybe, you know, that you could kind of set the implication that maybe he does know something about what his uncle was up to, but not enough to kind of, maybe there is a family secret that he is somewhat privy to. You can keep that in mind there. Alright, and as for the meat of the adventure itself, you could either go with a dungeon, or maybe even a forest. We'll probably save that for next video, because I know this is getting kind of long. But yeah, again, that's something we could do here. Let's see, if we got a minute, yeah, we'll save it for next video. But yeah, as you can see, we've kind of outlined a basic, you know, bare bones basic adventure. So we'll we'll add the meat to it a little later. So for now, take care, Monkey Bros, and I hope you enjoyed that video. So yeah, come back, you know, do the whole like, share, subscribe thing. I'm not going to bother you guys with the Patreon stuff for now, because I'm still kind of working on it, and I think that's something I like to reserve for my gaming videos. But yeah, if you do like this sort of content, yeah, please, by all means, engage with it, and, you know, maybe I'll bring out more of this stuff. So I'm really excited about this. I've always wanted to do some D&D content, so who knows, maybe this could be a campaign that we could play together someday. But, you know, I'm just kind of talking out loud. So, till then, you guys take care. MonkeyBro out.